As a trucker, I always say that saving your hard-earned money is as crucial as making sure your rig's wheels keep turning. But let me tell you, investing that money is all. You want to make sure you're headed in the right direction. So let me share some lessons from our own ride on the stock market highway, full of potholes, detours, and the occasional smooth stretch. Watch the patterns. Just like knowing when rush hour hits in every major city, the market has its own rhythms. The market might zoom out of the gate like you on a fresh cup of coffee at 9:30 a.m., then slow down by 10:30, only to pick back up by 11:30. It's not always perfect, but paying attention can save you from an unexpected breakdown, and it might not get back up to opening. It could drop back down lower than the 10:30 dip. It all depends on the reason for the volatility. Also, if it closed red the day before due to trivial news, it might very well go higher than the opening high. So what happens after 11:30 varies a lot, but that dip after a strong open is common. Trade like you drive. I carry carefully. They say you can't time the market, just like you can't always predict where that next speed trap will be. But if the market's been cruising in one direction for a while, that might be your sign to pay close attention. The longer you go without seeing a bear, the more probable it is that there's one ahead. Meaning the longer the market has been going in one direction, probability often is in favor of it reversing.
Technical analysis could help make decisions on a stock, but you also need to look at various time frames and consider sentiment, momentum, and trends. We won't go into that right now. Just know this. People tend to do the opposite of what they should be doing. Markets going up, and then they buy. It can't keep going in one direction. It's got to correct. Maybe buy a hedge at that point to catch the correction. Not financial advice.
Patience is your best co-pilot. When you believe in a stock, don't be quick to jump ship just because it hits a few bumps. In this case, I'm referring it's the stock of a company that you believe in for significant reasons. For example, they are making changes that would increase the profits long term. Their growth is above average, etc.
I've missed out on some big returns by bailing too early, like taking a load for $2 a mile, knowing I'm in a good area and that they should pay more, only to peek back at the load board later that day to see loads for $3 and $3.50 per mile to a better destination. Obviously, that was back in the day.
I digress. Sometimes the best move is to sit tight and find something else to do while you wait. Visit truckersidehustle.com to do some work online could very well be a better investment of time than trying to time the market.
If you find fuel that cheap, you might fill all you can in your tank. Keep that in mind on corrections, but especially recessions. There will be another one when we don't know. Buying established companies during those times pay off big time more often than not. To get 20-60% gains over the next few years after is not uncommon.
Well, on the monthly, when I have strong conviction on a trade, usually options, but not always, I buy more than I want to hold on a big red day. As soon as it is up, I sell most and hold on to the rest to see what happens.
Because when are you going to find that price again?
You don't know. While they panic sell, I'm frantically buying. If it's a good deal, load up, then lighten your load down the road.
Don't get greedy like those four-wheelers that try to pass the two trucks behind you, and you too. They don't know when to hit the brakes. They're asking to participate in a crash. Pun intended. Take profits when you're up, especially when you're hedging.
A 10% win is better than waiting for it to go to 50%, and instead, it goes negative 70% like this trade did on me. The road looked wide open from my viewpoint. I was up and said, no way it can keep rallying. I'm going to short the QQQ. Well, around the curve came a bull run. I didn't expect so soon. Lost about $3,000 on that one by the time it was over. Congrats if you were the one buying.
In my defense, even though I felt we were due for a correction by election, I felt Ford was solid enough to withstand, and maybe that it was so cheap, it might not even go in the red during a correction. Definitely it won't get put out of service. Plus, it pays a nice dividend that likely will continue.
So I did get in at $9.98 while everyone was selling. I didn't time the bottom, but close enough to stay out of the ditch for now.
Now, if you're curious about how my latest hedges turn out, stay tuned. In fact, you're watching this 2 months after I originally created it. I was right on forward. It got up to $14 while tech was going down. But now I'm about break even again. But I've taken up to 1,000% gains on Archer, Walmart, Palantir, Sophie Options, and still holding the remainder. I hedged on the SQQ again. I'm down again about $1,200. I'd say wish me luck, but that would mean someone else lost money. And we all know what that feels like. Just remember, investing is like trucking. Sometimes you're cruising, and sometimes you're crawling through traffic. But keep your eyes on the road, and you'll get to your destination.
And hey, keep an eye on those solid companies, especially with all the election noise coming up. If the market takes a detour, you'll want to be holding on to stocks that won't stall out in the middle of the highway.
But if you miss the dip, you might miss the ride up. Because for those AI-powered tech companies, the prices might be as low as the price of diesel fuel on Interstate 20 east of Dallas, Texas. But they'll rise quicker than the price of a barrel of oil during a cold winter.
That's Hervey's story, folks.
Not financial advice, just one trucker's tale from the investment road, sharing my experiences and lessons so that you might keep it between the lines and prosper. Keep your wheels turning and your investments earning. By the way, if you're tired of trying to time the market, or if you're an owner-operator, tired of taking cheap freight, consider investing in a trucker side hustle at truckersidehustle.com. You'll be on Team Hervey and we'll grow together. Personally, I'm mostly done with the market until the next crash. Time to go all in on AI employees and agents. By the way, Uncle Sam, if you're watching, I got you, kid.